Thank you so much, Mr. Pappas, for joining us. The first question, I think, is a basic one. How's it been going since you opened?
Well, first I have to say Costco loves Iceland. You know, what a great country on many levels. But it's been going very well. You know, I think there were doubters among our own company when the opportunity to come to Iceland came about. But I think Iceland has exceeded our expectations, and we're off to a very good start. It seems like since we opened in May, we've been very pleased with the response of the Icelandic consumer to Costco.
What were the doubts?
Well, we typically wouldn't look at a city with less than 1 million people to put a Costco in, much less a country with 350,000. So I think that we recognized the opportunity when we came and visited and we checked out the market. We really liked what we saw. We thought there was an opportunity to kind of rehabilitate some unused space and rejuvenate some space in the retail market. And we thought we had a savvy consumer and an opportunity to save consumers in Iceland significant money on their shopping.
Now you said that, and you have been saying that it's been surprisingly good. The opening has been surprisingly good. What is selling well and what's not?
What isn't selling well? I think we have, you know, strawberries. Incredible. And, you know, it seems like everything we offload from the containers, the minute we put it on the floor, it flies off the pallets. And, you know, there's this pent-up demand for quality at a great price. And I think it's, you know, we're frankly working very hard to try to improve our logistics so that we can, you know, it's tough with one ship a week coming to Iceland and multiple flights a week from Los Angeles and San Francisco to bring in fresh goods. But it's, we're getting our arms around it. If I could say the only thing I can think of that's not sold well is a cereal out of the UK called Weetabix. And, you know, it's not, I don't think it's known in Iceland. And it was, we of course had Iceland's #1 cereal. We had lots of Cheerios and they sold very well, but the Weetabix, not so much. And so we'll be doing some demos. There's probably a price reduction. And, you know, frankly, it tastes like cardboard, but it's good for you. So I think take home some Weetabix. It's going to be a great deal. But it's, there's very little that hasn't sold well. We've, the produce department, the fresh produce, as everyone knows, has been fantastic. We've done very well in fresh foods. We opened, the first time outside of Asia, an in-house sushi department. We brought over Japanese experts to train the folks here. We noticed that sushi was very popular here, and we even developed our own Icelandic twist on it. And that's been fantastic.
And you brought in a lot of people. Did you bring in more than you anticipated?
Well, I think when we first opened, we've been told many times of how the people in Iceland would respond to a grand opening when there's a new business came to town. So we were expecting it to be very busy. We brought in the search and rescue team to help direct traffic, and they did a great job. But we really had no idea. You know, we kept waiting for it to level off and reduce, and it didn't. I mean, week after week, the shopping kept coming. So we had hired in the neighborhood of around 260 local employees, and we needed to augment that. So we brought in upwards to 65 folks from the UK to help train and assist in the initial weeks. But you know, now we're down to, we're up to 416 employees that we've hired locally, and only 13 of those are transfers from abroad. So we've got a very heavily focused Icelandic staff. Our general manager is from the UK, but I think we're done with the support. We, of course, on a corporate level, we provide support in terms of regional supervisors and regional operations manager who oversee the Icelandic business, but we're 99% locally staffed.
Well, you talked about import, flying in products and shipping them in, but how about the local products, the Icelandic products? Two questions: how's the quality, how's it been selling, and does it offer any opportunities for Icelandic companies to actually use your net of Costco stores around the world to actually start exporting some of those products?
Absolutely. We, If you look at what we offer in the warehouse, all of our fresh meats, with the exception of a couple of frozen items from the UK, are sourced from Icelandic farmers. So the beef, the poultry, the pork, and most of the fish all comes from Iceland. We also, anything that's electrical, anything with a plug, is sourced via an Icelandic supplier. Beyond that, our gasoline, which is a great item for us, is purchased locally. So we also have worked very hard to meet with Icelandic suppliers about potential export products. We've taken some Icelandic drinking water into the UK. We've got these containers coming in. We need to fill them going back. We think the quality of the water is outstanding, and there is a market for it and a taste for it. So we're working to develop some of these products. And just this past week, our head of buying for Europe was in Iceland talking to different suppliers and just had meetings and invited suppliers in to source things. We would very much like to open up Costco's network of 740 warehouses to Icelandic product, provided we can get the quality. I was even, when we opened, the country manager for Japan, Ken Terrio, was in the country, and he met with a lamb supplier here in Iceland because in Japan, they have the impression, and it's true, that there's very high quality lamb out of Iceland. So there's an opportunity to export Icelandic lamb to Japan as well. So, Costco's got probably 28 buildings in Japan, and is growing fast. So there's more than ample opportunity for things to go both ways.
But I heard you said given the quality is okay.
Yes.
And how is that? I mean, how is Icelandic produce, how is Icelandic products quality-wise in your eyes?
Again, I think it's a mixed bag. I think there's, we see very high quality pork. We see very high quality chicken. Fish obviously is very nice here. The beef, I think we've got work to do in terms of it. It's not a staple meat for Iceland. So that's something that we're working closely with local farmers to try to improve the consistency and quality there.
Yeah. Well, everybody in here and everybody else outside has been talking about your entry into the Icelandic market. There have been positives and negatives being discussed.
Right.
Positives, of course, we all know them. It's the lower prices, greater quality, things like that. But how about the concerns that people might have and Wilhelm raised, for example, before, which has to do with competition? You have totally different economy of scale than your competitors here in Iceland. They work within a framework that is defending the smaller local Icelandic players against the larger Icelandic players, but not against big companies such as yours and those selling over the web. Is this a concern that you have been paying attention to and something that has been raised in other countries you enter as well? Because you have been entering markets such as France and Spain lately.
I think we were always very cognizant and aware of the impact we could have on the market. And overall we feel that competition in general is healthy. We see our model as slightly different than a pure retailer. We have a wholesale element of our business. We offer merchandise for sale, for resale by small retailers, so small retailers can take advantage of the items we sell. We're also big into supplying the hotel industry, bed and breakfast, all of the hospitality industry can purchase products for us to use in their business, as well as small offices. So we're not a pure retail player. And the other thing that comes into play is Costco only sell about 3,000 items. So a typical one of our competitors would have anywhere from 20 to 40,000 items in their store. So they're going to get pressure on 3,000 items. But overall, what we've seen when we go into a market is the overall competitive landscape improves. We don't take everything from any one competitor. We take a little bit from everybody, and we can, obviously our goal is to drive our sales and to become profitable. But we are, it's mitigated somewhat by the position we hold and the type of offer that we have. So I don't see it as being, it's different from if Walmart landed here or Tesco or Target or someone like that.
But being profitable is about your business plan, which is slightly different from most others because you don't intend to make any profit of the individual products, but at the end of the year, it's about just keeping the membership fees, isn't it?
Well, I think that's not the design of it. It kind of works out that way. This membership fee model is a little different. The idea is if you can have the membership fee income, you can. It's a way to and maintain low expenses. It's a way to maintain lower prices. So there's nothing stopping anybody from operating a similar model. It's worked for us. It works for us in a multitude of markets with very different ethnicities and cultures. And at the end of the day, it's really about providing high quality at a great value.
Do you sell products cheaper than you buy them in any cases?
Never. We have a strict policy against selling below cost. We don't operate on a loss leader basis. We may respond to a competitor who's gone below cost temporarily to meet or match that price. We don't like to be beat on price, but in general, we would never operate. We never sell items below cost. Sales. That's not within our philosophy. We will, however, not mark anything up more than 14%, and I think it's 15% on private label items. So we operate on a very thin margin, and it's about driving volumes of quantity against an efficient mix of products.
Another thing I wanted to get you to share with us a little bit is the international competition, because we in Iceland seem to be, well, quite often one cycle behind. So everybody's starting to buy products online in America, and it's starting to come here. And the big giants, such as yourself and others, are starting to enter the market. But you by yourself, having a very strong position here at home, have still been dealing with a little bit abroad, such as a quite sharp decline in your stock value when Amazon bought Whole Foods. Can you maybe comment a little bit about that? Is that purchase such a threat to the Costco model?
I think the reaction in the stock was a big overreaction. I mean, markets are volatile. I think Amazon has seen the need to get into bricks and mortar. They need to have a physical presence. It's going to help them. Everybody's trying to figure out how to work online delivery of groceries. It's not a cost-effective model. Nobody's really figured it out yet. Amazon may. But I think that the vast majority of grocery business is still done in markets and by people physically visiting the store.
And you say that people haven't figured out how to make money selling products such as the ones you sell online.
Oh no, I'm saying about groceries.
Groceries, yeah.
Yeah, groceries in particular.
Yeah. Is that something that you think is going to change? Are you working towards that?
I think we're looking at some different options. You know, we've got a partnership in the U.S. With Google Express. We've got another one with Instacart in, I think, 26 cities, where a third party will do a member shopping, pick the products up and deliver it to their home within a day or two. But I think it's a tricky business when you deal with fresh foods and that. But we've got some things in the pipeline that we're obviously looking at. There's no doubt that the online sphere has changed retail and is changing retail, and it's always evolving. And everybody's going to have to figure it out. I mean, we have an online business. We've been online for years in the U.S. We've got a very fast-growing online business in the U.K. But we find that typically what people like to buy online is electronics and bulkier goods that are difficult to put into your car and take home. You know, things like sheds for your garden are the big sales drivers. Furniture, patio goods, that type of thing. We do very well with.
But what's going to affect you the most now in the coming years? The biggest competition, where's it going to come from? Are you going to continue your same format of doing business without anything affecting it?
I think the overall philosophy of this, how we go about it may change relative to what percentage of our business is going to be in the online sphere, what part is going to be in bricks and mortar. I don't see us needing to change the scale, the size of our buildings, that kind of thing. I think it's that people always have a need and desire to go out and participate in some activity. I think sitting at home on your iPad and ordering your merchandise is not the same as going out and sitting on the sofa, trying it out, seeing the product, interacting with people in a business. I think for all retailers, they need to focus on the overall shopping experience and make their shopping experience special and different. But again, there's no doubt that there's a real online revolution happening, and it's going to affect the way all of us shop in the future.
Maybe at the end a little bit about your effect here on the Icelandic market. How do you view the social responsibility of a company entering a market with a huge advantage in forms of size, and also because it's not just size, it's your financing cost is much lower than the local companies, things like that. Wilhelm showed the map of Icelandic stores being run around the country.
Right.
How do you view your role as a player in the Icelandic economy?
I mean, I think
Besides just offering good prices.
Well, I think that does provide a service to the Icelandic public if they can improve their situation in terms of their finances by obtaining product at a better price. But beyond that, I would say that we always, when we go into it, we're providing, first off, we've invested nearly $70 billion of direct foreign investment into the Iceland economy. We use Icelandic companies to ship all our product here, so that's providing jobs for people and providing income for all of the Icelandic companies that provide services to us. We've employed over 400 people. That's probably going to grow to a 500 employee workforce. And we provide quality, high-paying jobs that outpay and pay better than anybody else in our sector. So we always operate responsibly. We always respect our suppliers. We take care of our employees. And as a company, we always take 1% of our pre-tax profit and use that in our corporate social responsibility programs to invest into and donate to worthwhile causes within the communities where we do business. So that will be part of what we do here.
And what are your next plans then in Iceland? Any plans for expansion? Costco Akureyri, is that next step?
No, I think Akureyri, we've got I heard that we had a petition going forward for that. To be honest, I haven't visited there yet. I need to get up there and see. I might be convinced, but at the current time, we've got no plans for anything beyond the one building. I think given the size of the overall market, one Costco is probably enough for now. But in the future, we'll be looking at ways to reach those markets potentially through online ordering and shipping to remote markets, similar to the way some of our other competitors do it here.
Do you think that's going to be feasible given the high cost of posting things within the country?
Well, we'll do our due diligence and we'll study and see if it's worthwhile. But it's got to be cheaper than getting on an airplane and flying to England to buy a Lego set and bringing it back. So I think that if we can bring our biggest concern right now is having enough product on hand, providing outstanding member service to the Icelandic consumer, and a great, fun shopping experience for everybody.
Okay. Well, that would be the final words. Thank you very much, Steve Pappas, for
Great.
joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.